Before we get into this, I need you to hear something that nobody in church is saying out loud. God does not bless weakness dressed up as love. And a lot of men today are confusing simping with sacrifice. They are not the same thing. Now, I'm not just talking about buying flowers or being nice to a woman. I'm talking about a man who has abandoned his backbone, his God-given authority, and his fear of the Lord, just to keep a woman from leaving. That is not love. That is idolatry, and the Bible has been warning us about this since Genesis. Let's start at the beginning. Adam, the very first man God created, was given one command. 1. Don't eat from that tree. But when Eve handed it to him, he ate. No argument, no leadership, no, wait, God told me otherwise. He chose her approval over God's instruction. And God didn't just confront Eve. He went to Adam first. Because Adam was the head, he was responsible. And his failure to lead brought the curse down on all of humanity. The original simp caused the original fall. Let that sink in. Then there's Samson, a man filled with the Holy Spirit, supernatural strength, called by God. And he threw it all away for Delilah, a woman who was literally being paid by his enemies to destroy him. She nagged him. She manipulated him. She cried on him. And eventually, he told her everything. He lost his eyes, his freedom, nearly his soul, not because he was weak physically, but because he refused to say no to a woman who didn't fear God. Then Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived. God gave him wisdom no man had ever had. But 1 Kings 11:4 says, when Solomon was old, his wives turned his heart after other gods. The wisest man on earth became a fool in his old age because he wouldn't lead his household in the fear of the Lord. Wisdom without backbone is just knowledge with no power. Proverbs 29:25 says, the fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. When you're living for a woman's validation, you are not free. You are in a trap. And God calls it exactly that, a snare. 1 Corinthians 16:13 says, act like men, be strong, not aggressive, not arrogant, but strong. Grounded, anchored in the fear of God, not the fear of rejection. And Galatians 1:10, Paul asks the question every man needs to answer. Am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. Now I need to be clear. This is not about being cold toward women. Ephesians 5:25 tells husbands to love their wives the way Christ loved the church. But how did Christ love the church? He led her. He corrected her. He laid down his life for her sanctification. Not to enable her sin, not to be her emotional hostage. Real love requires a man who fears God more than he fears losing her. Proverbs 31:30 says, charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Chase a woman who fears God and become a man who does the same. God is not raising up a generation of men who bow to whoever validates them. He is raising up men who lead in their homes, in their communities, in the Spirit. If this hit you, share it with a man who needs to hear it. And if you're new here, subscribe, because we talk about the things the church is afraid to say. God bless you. Now go act like men.